The Pilkington family's connection to Western Nebraska Community College is one built on generations of learning, friendship, and community spirit. It all began with Donald, known as Jess, and Dorothy Kramer Pilkington, who both graduated in 1948 from Scottsbluff Junior College. Jess played football along Dick Night Train Lane, and even though Jess Sr. and Dorothy are now gone, their love of family, education, and community continues to inspire generations of Pilkingtons who follow in their footsteps. Their son, Jess Jr., who passed away in 2022, attended Nebraska Western College in the 1970s, where he forged friendships that lasted a lifetime. He built a successful career in finance, opening one of the first Edward Jones offices in Gering, an office that is still thriving today under the leadership of his son-in-law, Michael Petco. His wife, Joni Escom Pilkington, also attended NWC, and their daughters, JC and Jaylee, continue the family's connection by taking non-credit courses. Brian also began his college journey at NWC before transferring to Chadron State College. He spent his career serving his community in sales and now works for VistaBeam. His wife, Linda Fitz Pilkington, earned her associate degree from NWC in 1983, and both later graduated from Chadron State. Linda has shared her lifelong passion for music by teaching piano and vocal music for many years, including at St. Agnes Catholic School. Their children, Emily, Joshua, Ashley, and Jared, each attended or graduated from WNCC, with several participating in the college band. Josh continues that tradition as part of the community band, Western Nebraska Winds. Jess Sr. had a lifelong love of golf, a passion that became a hallmark of the family. He passed that love on to his sons, who in turn shared it with their own children. For the Pilkingtons, golf is more than just a sport. Like education, it is a thread that ties generations together, creating time for connection, laughter, and the joy of shared moments. As a family rooted in education, music, golf, and community, the Pilkingtons are proud to be part of WNCC's story. They are deeply honored to be recognized with the Family Pride Award and remain grateful for the friendships, lessons, and sense of belonging that WNCC has brought to their lives across the decades. Please join me in congratulating the Pilkington family, the 2025 Family Pride Award recipient. I'd like to invite Brian Pilkington to share a few words for your family.
Well, thank you so much for this honor. It was a very pleasant surprise when Mary contacted us and we started communicating. It was not expected, so thank you so much. Very proud to be a part of the community in WNCC. My father, Jess Pilkington, started the tradition. He was born here in Scottsbluff, and then his family, eventually his dad and mom moved to Meeker, Colorado and bought a bakery in Meeker, Colorado. But my dad was going to high school here in Scottsbluff, and he was at that age where he was drafted, and it was right at his senior year, and I think they took him a little early, and he went into the military. And we always have those family conversations. Dad, what did they have you do? And he said, well, I was a good swimmer, so they made me a frogman. Yep. And I said, well, what were they going to have you do? And he said, well, I'm glad the war ended pretty quickly because they were going to have me detonate mines underwater. So that was a childhood breakfast table story that I've always cherished. So he graduated, he hitchhiked home after the war was over, came back to Scottsbluff, and he enrolled at Scottsbluff Junior College. And he was a pretty good athlete, and he played defensive tackle on the same line as Night Train Lane. And Dick Night Train Lane was an All-American defensive player, eventually for the Detroit Lions. And it's noteworthy that Night Train Lane was notorious for the clothesline tackle. And then the NFL banned that tackle because of nitrate lane. And so one night, my dad was playing alongside nitrate lane on the same line. And I think they were in Wyoming, I'm not for sure, but it was a road trip for a football game, and the other team was concentrating so much on nitrate lane that they let my dad slip through, and he slipped through 3 times in a row and sacked the quarterback 3 times in a row. He did say he had a good game. So Nitrate Lane, I guess, was a very good baseball player too, but came back to Scottsbluff and played football. So that was our claim to fame there for my dad. He was interviewed by a sports writer in Texas, and I believe he received a phone call one day and interviewed my dad, Jess, about playing with Nitrate Lane. And this sports writer wrote a book. My sister-in-law, Marilyn, bought me 2 copies. Thank you, Marilyn. Then my dad went on to, of course, finish his career at Nebraska, Scottsbluff Junior College. He went to Lincoln and got his ag degree. He came back here and then eventually worked for Simplot for many years. And so my brother, Jess Jr., he was also alumni of WNCC. He graduated in 1975 from Scottsbluff High School. Played on the golf team and played on the golf team at WNCC. And he played alongside some of his high school buddies, Alan Hahn, who had Scotties. Played alongside Jeff Jolliffe, who had Jolliffe Funeral Home. And I always remember their stories. And being about 5.5, 6, almost 6 years younger than my brother, I always looked up to him, and I found the tradition of golf too. And so I went on to college. Yeah, well, I was actually sitting at the Scottsbluff High School auditorium with my dad. And I remember it was the spring of 1981. We were trying to decide where I was going to go to college, what I was going to do. And Dad's sitting there, and he didn't say much. You know, he was kind of a man of few words, but when he said them, he meant them. And he goes, I think college out here would be a good place to start. And I said, okay, I'll start there. So I came out here and I enrolled and had all kinds of helpful staff, you know, get a young man started, you know, confused and not knowing what to do. And so I got a scholarship in band and played the trombone, so I played in the jazz band, etc., and I got a scholarship for golf. Went out and talked to Ron Brohart, and I said, hey, can you give me a scholarship for golf? And he said, okay. So I started out here and played golf. Got to go to Scottsbluff, or Junior College Nationals in Scottsdale, Arizona. Played alongside one of the pros. I can't recall his name right now, but his son actually played alongside me at Scottsdale, so that was fun. And then my wife, Linda, she was going to college out here too. And I just want to recall some of the teachers. I had Mr. Cook for calculus. Always thought he looked like Jonathan Winters, the comedian. Good calculus teacher. I had Lauren Bell. I knew what I was getting into with Lauren Bell. He was my scoutmaster. And so his class was tough. My son Josh told me today he had Lauren Bell. And first day of class, he walked in and Lauren said, this is going to be the hardest class you've ever had. Said that to a class of 25. And Josh said that class narrowed down to 2 people. Him and one girl. And he says, well, sometimes the girl was gone and it was just him, and sometimes he's gone and it was just the girl. And so another teacher, Mr. Pospisil, remember him for English Lit? That was right after lunch. He was an easy teacher, so I needed an easy teacher after lunch. I remember Mr. French. He was a good band instructor, fun music teacher. I remember Jean Ahrens, had her for a computer class, but our whole family tend to be headed towards teaching, so they all had Mrs. Ahrens. She was a great teacher, great person still to this day. Trying to think of some others. I had Ron Brohart, of course, for my golf coach. I always remember his significant laugh. And he was our golf coach, of course, basketball coach for many years. So had a wonderful experience at that time in WC, I believe, 1981, 82. So it's a staple in our community. Very proud to be a part of that. All my children attended somewhat the college in some area aspect, and their careers got successful. Two teachers, one pastor, he's with us here, and his wife Kate, and then also one mommy that lives in Alliance. So thank you so much for this award. I appreciate it. It's been a blessing, and thank you very much.